We're holding Reish Chav Ches, second column. Reish Chav Ches, second column, second paragraph. He says, what causes all this level, this great level of damage, that people basically know nothing, and at best they know the Mishnah. It's the falsehood which brings forth this perversion and this great damage. The faltel divrei avoy b'halocha sheyodim kipiem lochen yedaber ubegalin ponim b'toira shelokein v'yomer l'chududi bino. You know, the Mesil Sishorim speaks about it. Mesil Sishorim. I think Mesil Sishorim mentions this. He says, Musar. Who studies Musar? People who don't have the sharp minds, who are able to really delve into the Gemara, into something of greater intellectualism. So they want to become very religious, you know, and therefore they occupy themselves with all this material to make them very religious. That's what the point he makes. He says people were interested in intellectualism. So they'll approach a piece of Gemara, and what do we want to extract from the Gemara? You know, what is the point? What's the sharpness? What's the basis for your even approach? You have to know. You have to have information and principles to be able to process it. But that's not the emphasis. That's not the focus. It's the chududi bina. We want to sharpen our minds. We're using the Gemara. It's a means of developing your mind, your intellectualism. It's not the information in the Gemara. We want to come upon profound concepts, great understandings. That's what it's about. It's not knowing Torah Hashem. It's not knowing Torah Hashem. L'chdudi bina. So you say all kinds of things. You know, you work on the Gemara, who knows what. You know, if you would have just read a few pages later, you'll see that the whole discussion, you wasted days. If you would have known what was later, you wouldn't have wasted all this time. Very often you ask me a question. So the Gemara Lamed Beis discusses it. Says, wait till Lamed Beis, we'll have it. No, you could ask the question. You learn a Gemara, you ask a question. Then you try to figure it out. See, sometimes people, they figure it out, and they keep whatever it is, and they keep discussing it, but it's a waste of time. Because whatever you're going to come very often is not correct. And if you go a little further, you'll see what it is. You shouldn't be doing it. You shouldn't be doing it. Definitely not. The first time you're learning it, that's the reason why you have a Rebbe to teach you, right? If you're already experienced in learning, many things you learned already, so you already have the knowledge, right? You're aware the Gemara does discuss it, so you're aware of generally, so you're learning at a deeper level. But a person who hasn't yet learned, you're first approaching it, you know, well, what do you understand? It's like, you know, what? You ask a question, but after you ask the question, what do you do? If you don't have an immediate understanding, you go further. You go further. But, you know, maybe we'll come up with the answer. It's not a guessing game. We're not talking about a guess. It's not, well, but you know, it's the intellectual process. It's not the intellectual process. That's not what you're learning for. You're not learning for the intellectual process. You're learning to understand what the Torah is saying. And that's the purpose of the Gemara. That's the reason why, you see, years ago, a person went to a shir until he was 20, 21 years old. He went to a shir. So by the time you finished the shir, you learned a substantial amount of Shas. And not only that, when you learned the Masechta, you covered, in the first Seder, you could have covered 50 blot in shir, besides what you did in the afternoon. So after learning for maybe 8 years, you had a very substantial grasp of what it is. And even when you did other things, not as deep, So you covered ground. So when eventually you start to learn yourself, yeah, you're pretty proficient in many things in learning. So you didn't waste your time, right? Daf yomi is okay. That's too superficial. There you don't ask the question. If you retain it, if you retain it, if you retain it. At best, at best, at best. It's a faint recollection. Faint. Yeah. You know, faint recollection is if you remember, you know, you could pass out from, you know, you're like amazed. You remembered it. It's amazed you remembered it. Faint recollection. Yeah. Okay, let's see.